May the Force be with you.
Goodbye, old friend. May the Force be with you.
With so many Star Wars shows out there, it seems like it would be impossible to break down all of the series' complexities. Obi-Wan Kenobi, a miniseries that came out sometime last year, told the story of Jedi Knight Obi-Wan Kenobi's journey and life after Order 66.
The time has come. Execute Order 66.
Yes, my lord.
After it came out, critics and fans had mixed feelings about the prequel trilogy. But years later, fans liked the prequels more than they did before. Some said it was pretty good and others the opposite. We'll examine both sides in today's video to answer whether it could be the best Star Wars show. Let's get started by looking at the positives. It reminded us of better times. Since fans who saw Revenge of the Sith in 2005 were some years older during the show, this dose of nostalgia was a big hit with many of them. There are so many references to the 2005 movie that it makes people want to geek out. The best thing about the series is that it takes advantage of nostalgia and doesn't hurt the characters like the sequels. Also, it was a gift from the Force to see Hayden Christensen return to form in his Padawan clothes. Even so, he wasn't made to look younger, and since Revenge of the Sith was arguably the best Star Wars movie ever, Disney had to go back and see what happened to Kenobi after Order 66. Fans have moved on from the lame "I don't like sand" line since his and McGregor's fights were praised.
I don't like sand.
Brought back characters we wanted to see. There's no doubt that Obi-Wan Kenobi brought important Star Wars figures back and put his attention on them. Everything seemed like gold when Star Wars first came out, but the movies have changed that. The lack of spin-offs was broken by Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Ben Kenobi? Boy, am I glad to see you.
Since 1977, Obi-Wan has been one of the most interesting people in the story. Fans love seeing him on screen, and seeing Ewan McGregor play the part again is one of the best things about 2022. Seeing Kenobi at his best and a little past his prime was already an interesting story. Kenobi is a character whose memory has been a part of Star Wars since it started. Many viewers are still amazed by Alec Guinness and Ewan McGregor's performances, but his charisma has won them over. Since the project was first announced, Star Wars fans have been excited, and the epic ending makes it easy to see why. The story allowed us to see Kenobi again and how strong his Jedi power was. Vader's more appearances. Well, speaking of bringing back characters we wanted to see, just leads us to Vader's appearances. And maybe Darth Vader is a big part of why this show was so good. With Hayden Christensen and James Earl Jones playing the evil Sith Lord again, it's almost like die-hard fans' dreams have come true. Since Rogue One, which came out in 2016, has been the best part of the story, seeing Vader in the series was scary. Anakin Skywalker, or Vader in this case, has been the best thing about Star Wars, and he could easily be what ties the whole series together. Fans have seen the bad guy kill harmless children, kill his wife, and cut off the hand of his own son. But let's get away from this bad side because, well, Vader's personality is not as bleak as one might think. At his core, Vader is a broken man who thinks he's a leader, making viewers feel sorry for him. When Christensen and Jones worked together to bring the character back to life, it turned out to be nothing but great. Kenobi doesn't shy away from the dark side of the story. Fans will be happy in a galaxy far, far away. And last on its good side, a Star Wars narrative with a darker tone. While you never have to fear for Obi-Wan's life in Obi-Wan Kenobi, it doesn't imply the show is upbeat. The Disney Plus series depicts a grim depiction of the Star Wars universe, which makes sense given the period. This is a dark moment in the galaxy, where Darth Vader can simply appear on your planet and yank you to death with the Force. From Reva's intimidation techniques on Tatooine to Dayu's desperation, the series demonstrates how horrible things are under the Empire. The darker tone of Obi-Wan Kenobi also fits nicely in the main character's personal journey. Obi-Wan is essentially cut off from the Force at the start of Episode 1, and he's hesitant to utilize it, along with his lightsaber, for several episodes. He suffered great stress due to the events of Order 66, and he had dreams about his struggle with Anakin on Mustafar.
You will try.
After seeing Obi-Wan largely deal with external challenges in the prequels, it's refreshing to see him dealing with more internal issues. Order 66 is also dealt with heavily throughout Reva's arc, which is powerful in its own right. Overall, Obi-Wan Kenobi depicts the Empire's evil through the terror of its residents rather than the acts of its warriors, which works pretty well. So what then makes the show a bit of a disappointment? Sloppy writing. The first issue we can all agree with is its sloppy writing. You can nitpick while watching any movie or TV show if you look close enough. Writers make errors, and rationality frequently takes a backseat to storytelling. When the storytelling is excellent, this isn't a problem. It takes many of these minor flaws to seriously degrade the quality of a story. But that's exactly what happens in Obi-Wan Kenobi. There are simply far too many examples of sloppy or careless writing to ignore. How do Obi-Wan and Tala escape from Vader so fast on Mapuzo? Why don't there seem to be any security cameras in Fortress Inquisitorius? Why can't the patrolling probe droids use non-visual sensors to discover Obi-Wan's presence? Why do people speak so loudly in the presence of so many other people? And how do they avoid being overheard? Why did Bail Organa transmit a physical signal to Obi-Wan exposing Anakin's children's locations? Reva survives her encounter with Vader and arrives on Tatooine too soon. Above all, why do characters continue to believe their foes are dead when they clearly are not? It actually occurs 4 times in the show: the Grand Inquisitor, Reva, Obi-Wan, and Vader. It's as if no one knows what a fatal strike is. These aren't the kinds of errors that spoil a show on their own. However, Obi-Wan Kenobi continues to make sloppy writing choices and eventually becomes too much. Leave alone the poor writing, the writing itself seems to have no unique style. Lack of style. There are some scenes in Obi-Wan Kenobi that perfectly nail it. Daiyu is a lively planet with a lot of personality, and as a result, the entire of Episode 2, which takes place there, is brimming with energy and excitement. There are also several dramatic action scenes like Vader's fight against Reva and Obi-Wan's flashback duel with Anakin.
You're a great warrior, Anakin, but you'll need to prove yourself as your undoing.
However, much of the rest of the show suffers from a lack of style. Maybe it's just tiredness after spending so much time on Tatooine and The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, but it's difficult to feel enthusiastic about it anymore. Yes, it's important to Obi-Wan's journey, so it's natural that he spends some time there, but the program doesn't do much to make the planet more intriguing. Most of the locales he visits after that are equally uninteresting. Rocky hills and meadows on Mapuzo, rocky caves on Jabim, and even a rather uninteresting location for Obi-Wan and Vader's final confrontation. Even the battles lack the elegance and memorability that fans have grown to expect from the franchise, which is a true shame. There is far too much filler. The show has 6 episodes, all of which are under an hour long, but the show spends a significant amount of time on tales that feel inescapably fluff. This is especially noticeable in Episode 4, which is nearly exclusively devoted to Tala and Obi-Wan's mission to liberate Leia from Fortress Inquisitorius. On paper, it's a fun episode idea. The watery setting of the base makes for an exciting escape sequence as the tunnels flood, and there's definite appeal in seeing a little of the Inquisitor's daily lives. The issue is that everything that happens in Episode 4 is a rehash. Obi-Wan saves Leia, just as he did in Episode 2. Just like in Episode 3, Luke receives unexpected assistance from some Jedi supporters. We see Reva's determination to become the Grand Inquisitor, as we've seen in the previous episodes. And Obi-Wan, who is fresh off a bloody encounter with Darth Vader in Episode 3, is hardly developing. It's a massive flop, forgoing any potentially profound emotional development for an extended, repeating round of sneaking around. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. See you in the next one.